So, Chris, you in your talk today, you remind me of a unicorn. You're a funny economist, which I think is kind of a rare beast. And one of the other things I found really interesting was it seemed in general you were kind of saying that in trying to understand what's happening in the world or the economy in the U.S., you really have to ask the right people the right questions.
Right.
And I think you were suggesting that in the media and maybe some other economists aren't doing that, but you seem to be doing a really good job of that, right?
I try. One of the challenges of being an economist is that we're fundamentally philosophers. We all look at the same data and we come to different conclusions based on who we think should win or who we want to win. And that's one of the things that one has to ask when you're listening to these discussions. Whose side are they on? Are they favoring the position of the business community, or are they favoring the position of some other group?
But in terms of business, you were talking about Trump as well, and the inability that Trump seems to have to understand how government actually works and to not really understand his limitations in order to make changes to things, right?
Yeah, and I think it's been a learning experience, because coming into the office, he was inexperienced, and he continues to be. But you also see adjustment to the realities. He now knows that if he doesn't get Congress on his side, he's not going to get much accomplished. He's now learning to trust some of his advisors. He's changing his opinions about some of the world leaders he deals with. I don't know that we've had a president who has been as sort of unformed as Trump has been, which can either work out fine if he learns fast, or it can be a real disaster if it takes him a long time to grasp all this.
And he doesn't have a staff that knows how to do that either, right?
No, his staff is kind of a mix. I mean, he's got some really very experienced people who he's become a little more dependent on, and he's also got people who don't have a lot of experience either. That's fairly par for the course with a lot of presidents. They have a mix of personal friends and people who are old hands. Right now you're seeing a lot of the old hands showing up in things like the Defense Department, or in some of the more prosaic departments that, like Elaine Chao with transportation. She's been in cabinets before. She knows how this works.
Right. So a lot of the factors you were looking at was by talking to folks who can't lie. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, exactly. You want to find people who are basically giving you data that's trustworthy. People, when they're asked their opinions, either don't have enough information to answer accurately, or they're trying to spin that particular process. Purchasing Managers Index is one of those good indices where you've got people who are basically just going to report what they do. They're going to report the facts. And you can then interpret it any way that you see fit, but you're not getting a spin from the person who's answering the question.
Right. And who is doing the spinning?
Basically, it's going to be a kind of a combination of the C-levels in a company who want to somehow control how that company is perceived in the public marketplace, or you're going to have people who are spinning it for some particular ideological reason. And then sometimes you just have people who are spinning it because they don't know any better. I mean, the consumers, they're being told that they should be optimistic, and they're being told that there's going to be big changes, and so they believe it. At some point, they may become either disillusioned, or their optimism may be strong enough to actually pull the economy behind it.
Great. Well, thank you very much for asking the right people the right questions.
You're so welcome.